Alright guys, directed versus spontaneous pushing. Love this topic. Definitely a fave. Now, directed pushing, what is that exactly? Directed pushing is where you will be directed by a nurse, more likely than not, and then maybe later by a midwife or OB. During purple pushing, usually the way it goes is that you are instructed to take a deep breath at the beginning of the contraction, hold it, and bear down to the count of 10. They will attempt to have you do at least 2 of these during a contraction. So hold your breath, push and bear down for 10 seconds, and then take another deep breath in and push and hold down for 10 seconds. And then you rest in between contractions. No matter what kind of pushing method you use, you push or bear down during the contraction. Spontaneous pushing. This is where it is self-guided. You bear down or push as long and as hard as you feel comfortable with. There's a lot of listening to your body and just doing what feels right. It is following your body's natural urge to push. If an emergency situation is coming up and they have to get the baby out as quickly as possible, or if you have an epidural and you're not feeling the urge to push as your body might feel without medication, then self-directed pushing is probably not going to be the best course of action for you. And that's totally fine. Some people just feel stressed out because they don't know how to push, they don't know if they're pushing right, and having someone direct them makes them more at ease, and that's totally fine too. There is no right or wrong answer here. Now, so what are the benefits of both? I have these listed down later in the course, but I just kind of want to go over it a little bit here. Directing pushing can save your pushing time 10 to 15 minutes on average. One concern with directed pushing is that sometimes it can be done before you are ready to push, because if you're not feeling that urge to push, then you have to be told how to push, then your body might not be ready to push, and that can cause an extended amount of time pushing. So again, sometimes directed pushing is necessary. For every situation is different. For instance, if you have an epidural, more likely than not, you're going to need directed pushing because you're not going to be able to feel very well where to push and all that kinds of stuff. A lot of times with self-directed pushing, your care provider will place their fingers into your cervix and press down right directly above your anus to give you a good idea on where to push. With self-directed pushing, they also tell you that it's a lot like pooping because that's down where you are supposed to be pushing. Those pelvic floor muscles right near your anus is where you're supposed to be pushing. With spontaneous pushing, it usually is less stressful on mother and baby, and doesn't really have the negative side effects that directed pushing might have, but again, if your circumstances might dictate that you need it, and that's perfectly fine. Ultimately, decide beforehand what you feel you're most comfortable with, and then work from there, being prepared that sometimes when you get into the moment, things might change, and that's totally fine too. All right, and that's it. The last section next coming up is postpartum. We're almost there, yay!